So, as per usual, I get off work, come home, log in for a little bit of theater with the boys, and then I'm hit with this. Boom, stackable clues right up there at the top. And this honestly gets me super hyped. This thumbnail and this title, not clickbait. Like, this is one of the biggest updates we might be able to have this year. Although that sounds super good on paper, I read down a little bit further and things are a little bit lackluster. So what are treasure trails? Basically, it is a map to buried treasure. They give you these little clues, you follow it around the map doing little tasks, and then eventually you get a casket to open. Now, before moving forward, I do want to get a few things out of the way. I don't think completing a treasure trail is fun. Going around to the different steps, digging here, doing a little skilling challenge and stuff like that, that is not enjoyable to me, and I'm guessing most of you, what is enjoyable is opening up that casket and getting your buried treasure. This is going to be the basis of where my argument for this next bit comes from, so if you don't agree with me, you're not going to agree with the rest of the video. Being able to say this, being able to open more caskets quicker is going to lead to a better user experience. However, you could also argue that you can't overload things with way too many of these caskets, then all of the items that you get from the caskets wouldn't be as valuable, and it wouldn't really be worth going for, and a lot of that excitement would just dry up. So we need some type of built-in scarcity. All right, let me stop yapping about that. Let's get back to the blog post here. Stackable clues, something that I've been asking for since Leagues. On Leagues, you can just stack up infinite clues, and this is great because you can set up your inventory perfectly and just bang out a ton of them one after another. There's still the built-in scarcity because you have to get the clue scroll itself, but you don't have to regear and degear, and regearing and degearing is not peak content. So in the main game, we have never had stackable clues. Usually the drop timer on a clue would be 3 minutes, and if you wanted to have multiple of the same tier of clue, you would have to continuously drop them. Fairly recently, jagex updated this to 1 hour, so you can have as many clues as you want on the ground, not in your inventory, you're still limited to 1, but as many as you want on the ground for up to 1 hour. If you're not familiar with the metas that surrounded this, this basically gave you stackable clues. Let me actually gear up, I'll show you what the method looks like. You come here to the crafting guild and just crush implings until you get a clue. Then drop it on the ground, and once you have a bunch on the ground, you gear up with all the needed teleports and then smash them out one at a time. It's basically just stackable clues, but with extra steps, with the main drawback being that you have a ton of clues on the ground and you're kind of committed to doing them until you do anything else, like go join my friend here fishing at Tob. Now that brings us back here to stackable clues. Wouldn't it be great to do the process I just showed you there, but also have the freedom to play the game how you want to play the game when you want to play the game? But that's not what's being proposed. In the blog post, they're proposing the same scroll boxes that we had from Leagues, but with a max stack of 5. They even mentioned that this is going to be worse than the current methods for clue hunting. The one part that actually tilted me a little bit here is that they have a legitimate way to hold on to multiple clues without resorting to tedious inventory tricks. Nothing says less tedious like having to gear and regear constantly. Now, I know I just did a bunch of bitching and moaning, and overall, I think this is a really positive update. It's a huge step in the right direction. This goes ahead and solves a lot of the biggest problems with clue scrolls, mainly if you do raids. I come out of Tob so many times, drop that elite on the ground is like, I will totally get back and do that. But I never do, that shit despawns. And with this, that would never happen. Same with Slayer. I have despawned so many clues doing Slayer this way. If you've ever tried to juggle clues out at a Slayer task, it is so far, it's so annoying to run back and get that next one. A lot of the times, I just don't bother. Anyways, I know there's some people who are probably going to complain that this is going to bring some more clues in the game, and yeah, it's going to do that, and more people opening more caskets is going to be more fun. This isn't going to like flood the market with so many clue items that Third Age is worthless or anything like that. It's just going to allow you to have a little bit more fun. The rest of this blog post has so much more into it, and I do want to get into that, but with this one, they were so close to having this be a really good update. It is good still, but just having it be unlimited stackable clues would just really take it all the way there. It's just kind of weird that they like neutered themselves and just stopped halfway. They don't even want to give you stacks right off the rip. I guess you would get 2, but to get more stacks or more stackable clues, you're going to need to do a ton of clue scrolls in each category and also defeat the Mimic. Then ultimately, if these were implemented, they would get rid of the 1 hour despawn timer and you would no longer be able to crush implings and stack clues that way. While I do see some big problems and I don't think they went far enough on this, I'm going to be voting yes to this one. Next up, we have skip tokens. These are going to be a tradable reward from clue scrolls. They will allow you to skip 1 step from any clue scroll, so you can't just skip through like an entire clue scroll and just get the casket, and they cannot be used on the final step of the clue scroll. I don't know, seems fine, adds value to some clue scrolls, will make them a little bit better money, and I don't have to do any shitty steps anymore. Remember, the fun from the clue scroll is derived from opening the box, not doing that dragon eye step on that master clue. Abyssal, Sire, Rework. Good, this boss stinks out loud. Real quick, let's speedrun the cliff notes here. It's going to be a shorter vent phase. They're going to do this by allowing you to one-hit the vents with Demon Bane weapons. You're going to be able to hit the boss during transition. Right now, it takes a while for the boss to get off the throne and walk around the room, so they're just going to speed all of that up. And not to speed it up too much, they are going to give you a 50% damage reduction on transit, but overall, this should be a much faster fight. I feel like this is kind of like getting a raise at work, but it's a much smaller one than you were expecting. Yeah, I'm still going to accept the raise. Yes, I'm still going to vote yes to this, but I feel like they could have just gotten rid of that whole lung phase entirely. Melee at Zulrah. I don't think anybody was asking for this, but I'm voting yes to it. A little bit of Noxious Halberd action at Zulrah. It just adds a little bit more variability. If you don't really have a good setup for mage range, but you do have a good melee setup with the Noxious Halberd, this will allow more people to kill the boss. More people having more fun is more better for the game. It's not going to outcompete any of the major range setups except during that red melee phase where you hide behind the pillar usually. I don't really see this being too much of a problem. I guess you might be tempted to bring another 7 or 8 way switch. Could be a little tedious, but you could also just not do that too. Next up, we have fake challenge mode. So this is going to be the CM layout, but with normal boss stats and HP. I personally think that this would be a fun little speed run and also a great way to teach learners how to do CMs and just how to do all the extra rooms in the raids that they usually don't run. Next up, we have some demonic gorilla changes. They're no longer going to be aggressive, and instead of switching every 50 HP, it's going to be 70 HP. It's just going to make them less tedious. Big thumbs up from me. Next up, boring Iron Man update. You're going to be able to chisel the emblems that you get from revs into ether. This would be a massive GP loss for mains, so not at all worth doing. More agility shortcuts, never a bad thing. Banking and Grand Exchange updates. The first one is one that I really like. So imagine you're at the Grand Exchange and you're trying to quick sell or quick buy something and it just doesn't buy or sell for that first amount. You have to exit out that entire offer that you made and then readjust it when you place a new one. For this, they're looking just to be able to live edit that, so you could just, you know, bump that price up or down accordingly and then make that sale. Massive time save. They're looking to make a single empty containers button that would just empty all the containers in your inventory. This one's kind of hilarious. If you were unaware, if you die in game with Chinchampas in your inventory, or equipped, they are gone forever. This one's a tough one for me. Like, dying and losing chins is like kind of a rite of passage. It's part of the culture, it's baked in, but should we really be losing all our chins on death? Probably not. Bonfires, more experience. I'm 99, don't care. So gout tubers, they're gonna make them easier to get with higher woodcutting, but the interesting part about this is that the higher your woodcutting level is currently, the harder it is to find a gout tuber. Never knew that. Then there's a bunch of quality of life updates. I'm going to read you the few that actually matter. Bird's Nest, click 1, open them all. Bird's Nest, again, when you get a beginner clue, when chopping them trees, you will get the nest as well. Then there's a bunch of like smaller miscellaneous ones. Nailing the bonus at Giant's Foundry is a little bit better than it used to be. You can spam your cat a little bit faster. Well, anyways, thank you guys for listening to me read the news, and I will see you in the next one.